Hello, this is Vulturefire, and this is the beginning of a new series that is going to be a full playthrough of Breach Wanderers, from a brand new save through to at least a depth 4 win with every single character. Obviously, this is not just going to be one video. This is going to be a lot of videos. I don't know exactly how many. I haven't thought that far ahead, but at minimum, we need to do all of the quests. I am planning to unlock the shrine. You need to get all the characters up to at least level 2. Probably more than that, because doing a level 2 depth 4 win is not trivial. And along the way, I am going to be planning to show off as many different strategies as I can, and just hopefully make this a generally useful new player resource. So, a couple notes as I get started. First of all, I am starting this on a beta patch so that I can start having videos ready to go before the patch itself goes live. The actual release patch is not out yet as I'm recording this. So there may be some minor changes to cards, and there is still some placeholder art, I believe. But overall, I believe all of the card packs have been locked in, so it should only be minor number tweaks between now and release. So these videos should still be good. The other note is, in previous Fresh Start runs, I have avoided opening card packs. And this time around, I'm not going to be following that. Now, I am playing on PC, which means that I will be getting resources a decent bit faster than I would on mobile. For those of you who are unaware, Breach Wanderers is free to play on mobile, whereas on Steam, it is a one-time purchase. On mobile, you can buy booster packs, which are one-time purchases that will speed up your resource gain rates. And if you spend as much as the Steam purchase price on mobile packs, you get about the same resource rate. So, if you are playing on mobile, the shortcut here would be roughly $15 worth in the mobile store will get you about the same rate of progression you'll be seeing from me here on PC. So, let's get into it. This first video, I am planning to run through the Depth 1 run, the first Depth 1 run, that's the tutorial run, and then I will do the first quest, Forest Investigation. I plan to include both of those things in this video. So, before I get started, I'm playing Raodan. He is the first character you get. He is a Frost Mage. Right now, the only passive we have is his passive where he gets 2 extra mana every turn. Normally you get 2 mana per turn, but Raodan gets 4, because he's cool like that. His starting deck is, it's what it is. I advocated for some changes, but one day decided that it's fine enough as is, and it's not bad. Like, it'll get us through this first Depth 1 run. So I'm going to be clicking through tutorial prompts and just kind of explain things as I go. So we have several types of cards. We have our mana costs, our mana here. This is not intended to really be a learn to play series, but hopefully cover some things. You can see here, that's how much mana I'm getting next turn. This 10 out of 10 is not a limit on how much mana I can hold. It is a limit on how much mana I will keep at the start of next turn. So at the start of next turn, if I had, say, 15 mana, I'd go down to 10, and then after that, I would gain the 4 mana that's listed here. And that, like I said, is normally 2, but for Raodan it's 4. Shield, same deal. Except there's no instant shield gain. I have 18 out of 10, which means that at the start of my turn, if these guys weren't hitting me, I would go down to 10 at start turn. And probably that will be visible at some point later on. So this card, one of our damage cards, does freezes the enemy, then deals damage to it if that enemy is frozen. We're just going to kind of spend all our mana. We saved a bunch from last turn, so we can just kind of play things out. Now we have no mana. And we get mana. We can get mana each turn. We can also get by playing mana cards, as I said. Or did I say? Well, we can. And then, yeah. So, Raodan's things, we freeze enemies. Frozen enemies can't do anything. This is not bad. We'll take it. Should do something for it. Should do some damage for us. Kind of moving quickly through things. So this is going to deal damage. It's going to apply Bleed. Bleed is a debuff that says that every card I play that isn't a mana card will cause this thing to take damage equal to how much bleed it has, which is 3. So it's doing 1 damage for playing the card, and then 3 from the bleed. Fortunately, we are 1 card short of just getting the kill here. So we are going to lose some health. We go to 94 out of 100. Let's go ahead and ice both of them. We conveniently have enough left over for Mana Blast. Magic Blast, rather, which will kill. Mana Blast is a different card. We'll take the Cleansing Shield. Cleansing yourself one time is not super relevant for Raodan. Or for the Depth 1 run, rather. It is relevant for Raodan, but it's not relevant for the Depth 1 run. So, there's several kinds of nodes. These, like, bronze basic squares are regular combats. These are elites, you can tell because they are silver. In the middle we have the two mid-bosses, and at the top we have an end boss. Because this is a Depth 1 run, there's only one area. Oh, hey, right, these got new sprites. So these are Assault Wisps. They're angry. They are going to get stronger every single turn until they die, because they are just kind of unfriendly that way. But I was already committed to killing that, so I just went ahead and finished that off. See, it gets powerful. That's going to permanently increase its damage dealt. There are ways to remove that, but we don't have them in this deck. That's okay. So we can heal here. You can see, like, it was doing 1x4 last turn, now it's doing 2x4. Could have played the, I should have played Cleansing Shield actually to show that off, but I decided to save the mana. Oh, hey, new Mana Dance art. Sweet. So, there's been a lot of new art over the course of this release patch, and I haven't seen all of it yet. So, Mana Dance gives us Evasion 1 this turn, which means that we get to dodge the next incoming hit. That tends to be very valuable. Which boss are we fighting? Maybe less valuable against Lore Blossoms. Meditate's also pretty good. Gives a lot of buffs that Raodan likes having. Mana Dance is... So, I'll explain card rewards next time we get to a thing. I don't think we need the Cleansing Shield. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. I think of our cards is the one that is least likely to have value for us. Alright. So the evasion is only for this turn, which means that we're not going to get much value out of it. We are currently on fire, which means we're going to take damage at the end of turn. One thing worth noting is that although this says it's not reduced at end of turn, the yellow means that it is a temporary rank, and the card supersedes the buff tooltip. So this says gain 1 evasion this turn, so it is only this turn, even though normally, like it is possible to get through a couple of cards evasion that is like non-temporary evasion that will just stick around until it is used up to dodge an attack. Icy Chains is pretty good, although it is much stronger later on. Okay, so cards. We have 2 cards from our card pool. Right now we don't have control over that, but it is a set of cards that can be offered to us. There are, I think, 20 cards in it to begin with. And then this is a monster card. Each monster has 2 different cards that they have a chance to drop. If there are multiple different monsters in a fight, you can be offered cards from any of them. However, only the highest rarity matters. So if there's a fight where we have like this elite, this elite had the Assault Wisp with it. The Assault Wisp is just a normal enemy, which means that we could only get the cards from the elite itself. We're going to take Brainstorm because it's pretty good. So Green Flower is useful. So, items, I'll cover them eventually. Do we need block? No, we're not cowards. Okay, this is an event. Yeah, that's a conditional option. So it is worth noting, some conditional options have a cost. This would cost us our only rest supplies, which is a little risky, but it does give us free upgrade, which is usually pretty valuable. I'm a little leery of taking that, just because, like I said, it is our only rest supplies. But I'm not a coward, so we're going to do it. This makes Pierce quite a bit better. So yeah, we now have an active trinket. We can use it. Normally you want to save this for the right moment, but this one, the way it works is we draw 1, and then it comes over here, goes to draw 2, and we get to do it again. Whenever next we draw it. So that's nifty. So this is a boss. We get boss music. It's not that hard of a boss. And freeze. So bosses take more frost, and their frost goes up faster. You can see we're already up to needing you know, that much frost to get this thing locked down. So this is not going to do any damage because it's not actually going to freeze the enemy, but that's okay. Just playing cards out to get stuff. You're now shocked because you're going to take a lot of damage from whatever the next hit is. If this guy gets a chance to hit, which he probably will not. Pierce scales up based on how much frost, what the enemy's max frost is, so we're good to go. Alright. I think we're going to take the Mystic Removal. Blizzard is good if we can afford it, but I think with a level 1 Raodan, it's relatively difficult. Once we have access to Raodan's level 4, he gets even more mana. Likewise, Mana Eruption is very, very good with a level 4 Raodan, but less good right now. Still not bad. Like, this is still a 4 mana card. Compared to, like, this one is 4 mana if we meet a condition, this one's, and these are only 2 with an extra bonus. We'll take Mystic Renewal, which is going to give us Frenzy, which is an extra turn. We're not going to... This upgrade is very good, but again, like, I don't think we can afford it. I'm actually going to upgrade Last Rating Strike, because then we get even more... Well, yeah, I think we're going to do that. And get even more needles. We give our only Rest, which makes me not want to cut the Mend, which would normally be my cut here. I think we're going to cut the Magic Blast, because I'm not a big fan. Alright, we're going to fight this elite, because, you know, we got to go after the elites. We're not cowards. Let's set that up. This guy does have Frost Barrier, which means we are going to get hit by Frost every time we deal damage. Which means we are going to end our turn frozen. Normally, so there's 2 ways to get out of frozen. First is, if we have no cards in hand, when we end our turn, they'll just go away. The other is, and you may notice like this has 2 ranks of frozen. Each card we play will use up a rank of frozen. For monsters, it's each action. Normally monsters will only take 1 action per turn. Later on, you will see ways, including in this series, for a monster to take more than 1 action per turn. When that happens, it's worth noting, monsters can do multiple things in 1 action. Like that guy was trying to freeze and attack us. That was still only 1 action. In the same way that like this card gives us mana and gives us evasion, but it's only 1 card. Same deal. So yeah, normally monsters do 1 action per turn. There are cases later where they will do more than 1. Alright, so we can do that, which means that we will get an extra turn after this one. Doop. Hey, we get the freeze. And that's going to do quite a lot of damage. And now we get an extra turn because Frenzy. Bonk. Okay. Ice Cure is pretty good. I don't know that we need it, but I may take it anyway. So this immediately freezes us when we play it, but we just play it last. Gives us some starting buffs. Alright, going through this event. So this event, I happen to know I can do this. Top option, bottom option, and then I get to a card removal. And that's usually pretty good. And we're just going to cut. Now I don't think I need them in because I have the Icy Cure. And because we're still at full health and we only have 1 actual fight left. We are going to sharpen our weapons, which will give us a powerful buff. I am at the point where I don't really read events, so I apologize for that. It's just kind of an ingrained habit at this point. So that powerful we picked up means that now we do extra status, which is why 2 Chilling Focuses was enough to freeze this thing. Obviously that is pretty handy. We're just going to be able to lock down everything here. And we're going to end the turn by playing that. It doesn't actually do anything for us, but it will let me show you next turn that we go down to 10 shield. Oh, Mystic Renewal is also legendary, which means that even if we could find a way to copy it, we can only play 1 legendary card per fight. Or, sorry, yeah, per fight. And that includes any legendary cards. There are 3 right now total in the game, I believe. This is one of them. This is the easiest one to get to just because, like, you saw, we got it in our first run. It's a monster card. We can only get it from specifically the Vessel Impulse fight that we took. But yeah. I'm going to freeze you, because I think you're probably just going to die. Yeah. And one advantage of this powerful is that, yes, now these do... Does also get extra damage. So it effectively gave us a total of +8 damage to the last rating strike, because we get 2 from the initial hit, and then 2 from each of the other follow-up hits. There we go. On to the boss fight, having taken basically no damage. And Electrify is underwhelming, but we will take it, because it is damage. Alright. Final boss for the run. because this is a depth 1 run, so it's not too difficult. We're going to go. These guys are big versions of the book guys that we fought earlier. One of the big notes with how they work is they have death spores, which means each one we kill is going to pass that back, is going to give powerful to all of the others, which is just something to be aware of. We cannot do everything I want to do here. That's okay. That one is just going to die. And we do get our frenzy turn. These guys are trying to arcane blast us, which is fine. It's not the worst thing in the world for us. Like, I would rather they did, but so the shock rune means that we apply shock. So there are 3 statuses: arcane, frost, and shock. Frost we've talked about, like locks you out of turn. Frost increases the amount of damage that is taken by the next attack. Then arcane is going to deal damage, and it is going to dispel us, which is going to take our buffs away. So if you watch our precious powerful, there goes one of it, and there goes all our other buffs. There goes the other one. Would love to freeze this guy, but I don't really have a way to do that. Let's see. I can get this kill. I think I prioritize the kill over that. So we do get exploded again, but we're kind of out of buffs that we care about losing, so it doesn't matter. Increasing the max frost makes that stronger. Alright, and this guy did not choose to attack us this turn, so you can see we're at 13, then we're going to go down to 12, and then immediately back up to 16. And that's run number 1. So, the first run is kind of locked in what rewards you get. You're guaranteed to get like 1,000 and then a little bit more ether, or you're guaranteed to get 800 ether and then whatever your rewards are, and you're guaranteed to get exactly 500 XP, which is enough to take you to level 2. You can tell, like, if you abandon before the first fight, you'll still get that 500 XP. Normally, depth 1 run is closer to like 1,000 XP on PC. And then we get these cards, which are Raodan exclusive. Only Raodan can use them. And we can now edit our starting deck. So I'll show you that in a moment. Obviously, it took me longer to do that than it would for a normal player, but it is what it is. So we'll open cards in a moment. So there are several quests. This is going to be our first set of objectives. These 2 were added, or these 3 were added in the most recent update. And they are kind of going to be, so there are, let's say, 3 kinds of quests. There are quests that unlock additional depths, which is, or additional difficulties. So that's depth 2 from Force Investigation, depth 3 from Fetid Smoke, depth 4 from Outside Influence, and then finally, Final Confrontation unlocks the Shrine. If you have played prior to the release patch, you may have already seen the Shrine. This quest was not added until the final update. And so if you've already unlocked idols in the Shrine, you will be, those spots will stay unlocked will stay unlocked, but you'll have to beat this to start using the Shrine again. So anyway, we're going to do this, Forest Investigation. We've been getting more and more reports of abnormal activity in the forest. There seems to be a new species of lore blossom that has been wreaking havoc on our adventurers. Take this trapping device and bring me back one of these strange red lore blossoms. We're going to begin. Difficulty easy, unlock step 2, magic spores, arcane focus, step 1 of 2, because there are 2 parts to this quest. Means we're going to need to do 2 runs. Not going to buy anything from the market. I am going to start buying stuff from here. I'm going to start with arcane connectivity, which gives us 2 item choices, which is very, very good. And I am going to be opening packs. So in total, there are 400 cards, and you start with 61 of them. You get 3 cards per pack, which is, please hold, 113 packs, costing you a total of 45,200 ether. This is quite a few runs, but don't worry, it's not as bad as it might seem at first. The big reason being that bounties will help a lot. They don't start out giving us that much, but we are going to get more bounty slots, and as you unlock more depths, you will get more rewards from each bounty. So we're going to open 2 packs with our ether. Cards in packs are divided into tiers, so everybody will get the same, roughly, you will get the cards in the same order, but you will get the same general set of cards first. You'll get everything that is in the tier 1 before you start getting things that are in tier 2. These tiers aren't listed anywhere. They're just a way to group cards so that the player experience kind of flows better, and so that you will start seeing, you will get cards that are going to work together at around the same time. In this case, for example, we got Frozen Gust, which is a Frostbite card, and we can guess that we will start seeing other Frostbite cards relatively soon. We didn't happen to get any in this pack, but they are in tier 1, so you can expect us to see more Frostbite cards within the next few packs. So for depth 1, I am going to adjust to the starting deck, but there's not... Thank you. Yes, I know. But there's not a whole lot that we need to change. We are just doing depth 1 runs still. My general habit, though, is to yeet everything and then rebuild. And we're going to do that. Because I like having a lot of mana, especially with Raodan. Or especially with this early on before we have access to the Raodan's level 4 passive. Assisted Spell is nice because that will give us summons, which will give us which will give us access to Wits, which is an extra card every turn, which is nice. Ice Blast is good though. I think I want 2 Ice Blasts. I'm going to go generally pretty aggressive here for the depth 1 runs because I don't need to play defensively. So I would rather just close out the fights relatively quick. So I think I'm going to take 1 Pierce. I'm going to take an Assisted Spell. I'm going to take... There's not a lot in the way of draw here because like I don't want to run... I think Introspection is a little too expensive. Drain Life is nice because like we can just hold it and it will do its thing. I like having an Infuse. That'll let us get rid of enemy buffs. And then Hone actually seems okay. This gives us a 50% chance to do a critical hit. Your base critical hit chance is 0. But while you have critical, you have 50% chance of doing 150 damage, which makes this basically a 25% damage buff. Which is nice. So, I am, as they say, doing it live. So we will see how this goes. One note here is that we do start with this Containment Sphere, which is an active trinket that captures any enemy with 20 or less health. We also need to go to this quest node, as this is telling us. So we are kind of forced in our pathing here. Gotta start here. That guy now has 20 or less health. So he's going to get in the Pokeball. So this is a friendly summon. It's just going to do its thing, which is going to give us some growth, which increases our max mana. And if we can get enough growth, it will give us extra mana per turn. And the other thing it does... Oh, hey, there's a critical hit. Is that it's going to give us Wits, which is an extra card draw every turn. Force Magic is pretty okay. It's going to give vulnerable to enemies. This is a monster card. It's going to give vulnerable to enemies. It's going to give Arcane to them. And it's going to do... just generally be a good card. This will summon an advanced version of the Runic Sprite, which will give it... mean that it will compound the Wits it gives us. We can also upgrade the focuses, though, which means that they will give us the 6 mana that we need to play out our cards, which I think is what we want to do. Though it's not too important, we are still doing like low difficulty missions, so especially with the Containment Sphere to just Pokeball things. Shocking Grasp is nice for shocking things. We are doing generally high damage cards, which makes the Shocking Grasp valuable. And we're going to keep upgrading mana because we keep taking expensive... We keep generally taking expensive effects and cards. I like to take events. So this is one of the many events where you can look at the art to see which direction to go. As you can see, this is not really the friendly place to be. We want to go right on the red mushrooms. We get the purple option. There are several options that will have a random chance outcome. This particular event, that purple conditional option, can sometimes be a free upgrade, but not always. So you get energy. We'll take Enchanted Stopwatch, which is just going to guarantee crits every so often. This is one of those events where it's like there are several options. I don't really know exactly which one I want most of the time. Like that option was just kind of whatever. I think we can get a free upgrade there, but it's just a random chance. All right. Pop. So that dispel didn't do anything, but that's okay. And that's just going to be... Oh, right, that's because that was not 3 spells, that was. So now Enchanted Stopwatch means that the next spell we play will do a critical hit. Which means that that's going to do 30 damage. That was not a guaranteed crit, but we did get a crit all the same. And yeah, we get 6 cards this turn because of the Wits. which is kind of a blink and you miss it sort of thing. So that shocks, which means this is now going to do 45 damage base, 68 with the crit. Singularity is very good, but I'm just going to take the mana font because it is just really clean. I don't think I really want either of these. This makes us draw fewer cards every turn. We don't have strikes anyway. That upgrade is pretty good. That upgrade is pretty good. I think we're going to actually upgrade the assistant spell, and I don't think we're going to need the Pierce because I don't think anything is going to live long enough for Pierce to scale up. So let's donk you. We're going to kidnap you. So this is where I was talking about the Dispel. Like, it lost a rank of Death Spores there, which means that we only had to deal with one rank instead of two. This can kill any of them. Let's go ahead and kill that one, because it's trying to shield. We will take a little bit of damage here, but that's fine. We have Drain Life, which can heal us as needed. Not a ton of healing, but we don't need a ton of healing. Another note here is this Arcane will do extra damage to shocked enemies. Both these enemies are shocked, so they're going to take 15 instead of 10. I think at this point we just take the Chilling Focus. Decent argument that they made for taking the last range strike instead, but... Yep, just going to freeze you. Oh, wrong button. This is permanent plated. We can get rid of it for a turn, but using like the force magic, but we can't make it permanently go away. Alright, we're going to do that to heal. Crushing Strike is pretty okay. I think I just want the Brainstorm. That's going to be good. So Scatterblast Wand, I'll show you what it does in the next fight. But basically it means that our single target spells are now multi-target spells. Unless it bugs. That's interesting. Let me report that bug. Actually, let me get at least... let me see if I can get another spell off here. Because I haven't used... Because it's the only one I've used so far. I don't know if... I'm going to use at least one more spell so we can confirm if it is Scatterblast 1 that is the problem. Or if it's Ice Blast that's the problem because it's conditional, or if it's just... whatever. Like I said, this is a beta patch, so... Okay, no, it is specifically Ice Blast. Alright. We're going to draw some cards. Not strictly because we need to, but mostly because I want to get value out of that one of the things. Okay, we can just completely destroy this. We could kill either of them, but this one has more health, so it's the one that's going to die. Or is it not more health? It has less health, but this one's doing more damage, so we're going to do that. We have 2 wits, which means that if we draw, if we were to somehow survive, have this fight draw out long enough to get back to whatever, we would be able to get Spell Weave. But we're still not having fights draw that long. I'm fine just taking the zap. It's basically does nothing, but that's fine. Alright, so this event, as you wander through the forest, you happen upon a particularly dense thicket of mushrooms. Your artifact is pulsing slowly. It seems that your goal lies within. Continue. Squeeze through the first mushrooms, but it's proving to be a particularly difficult endeavor. You'll need to figure out a better way to traverse this section of the forest. We're going to keep going slowly, squeezing ourselves through the trunks. Weak debuff. So that is a temporary debuff that's going to last for the next couple of fights. Eventually the path gets easier. You happily tread forward, only realize that you don't actually know where you're going. Everywhere you look, you see only mushrooms. Where to now? We're going to go towards the right. You keep following the red mushrooms. Before long, the majority of the mushrooms surrounding you have become red. Clearly, you're getting closer to whatever lies at the center of this thicket. You eventually reach the edge of a clearing filled with strange red lore blossoms. You've seen your fair share of lore blossoms in your days, but nothing quite like this. What do you do? Tough choice. Okay. Objective complete. Oh, right, we're still weak, which is why we didn't get the explosion there. So used to just playing that and seeing things go boom. These guys are kind of jerks, but... Well, at least the weak that's the main issue here. That will counteract the weak. Unfortunately, this will not kill both of them, even though it should. Because of the Scatterblast 1 bug. But that's fine. Doesn't mean that we get to do this, which will heal us to full. Alright. Scarlet Incantation is usually fine, but kind of underwhelming here. I'll still take it. You take a deep breath. You look at the device in your hand. It's vibrating slightly, but it seems to have functioned properly. You secure it to your belt and keep moving. Continue. So if you're a speedrunner, pro tip here is you can bail immediately after all of these quest objectives are crossed off, and it will count you as having finished the run. But I'm not going to do that because that doesn't sound as fun. So by freezing here, we actually get to prevent this. We get to prevent getting shocked, or not shocked. We prevent getting arcane detonated. I'm not going to hit here. We're going to take a tiny amount of damage here. All right, looks like they really do want us to get arcane detonated. All right, let's. Guess let's get a detonation here. It's powerful. And we can capture that. Yeah, we now have fatigue. Which is unfortunate, but it happens. So fatigue means that cards that we would draw after that would cost us extra mana. I'll cover fatigue more when it becomes more relevant. We're going to lose some health here. So our max recovery by default is 15. Now that we are more than 15 health away, our recovery cap decreases. Our actual max health has not gone down, and if this weren't the last fight, we could get some of that back by resting. But this is the last fight, so we can't because the fight's just gonna be the run's just gonna be over after we finish this fight one way or the other. All right, we can do that, and we're gonna do that. So look, we get spell wave. So our next spell, our further spells will do more damage. And we now have two of these little guys. We can shock you. Gives even more damage. And there we go. There are no extra bonuses for like leftover rests or having more health at the end of the run. It's just did you win or did you not? So. Alright, it's gonna take us most of the way to level 3, but not quite all the way there. Next up, our experts seem to think that these new lore blossoms are in fact a symptom of a much deeper issue. We need to go back in the forest and make sure that there's nothing in the forest causing this. Sure thing. All right, we drew enough extra cards, we get that. That one is obviously pretty doable. We're guaranteed to complete that one. We're gonna go ahead and unlock that. That one's probably not gonna be done in one run, but it's very much something we are able to do. And we do get to open one more pack. Alright. Or just generally useful starting cards, although stuff that we are not planning to include in our particular list. Well, these we will once we have access to the card pool. Okay. I'm not going to bother changing the deck. We're just going to go for it. I do need to look towards unlocking other characters at some point. So for this quest, we just have to defeat the final boss. Oh, hey, it now has a Mudrera eye, which is a hint towards the final boss that was added. So we're just going to take a bunch of events because they don't take much time. And we're just trying to finish out this run and the video. Fortunately, we no longer have access to the massive speed up that we got from that one thing. From the capture sphere. Just like that would have let us have already won. Fine. Last rank strike is still pretty good. Upgrade. I think last rank strike upgrade is still pretty good. I know that's actually correct, but that's what we're doing. I don't think it's a bad choice at the very least. Yeah, that one is doing pretty okay work. And this is... We want to get that arcane detonation off, though, because we do have the quest to do arcane detonation damage. That's still fine as far as damage goes. Like, even without the ability to actually shock things, that's still like 12 damage base for 1 mana, which is fine. Yeah, creative focus. Probably gonna cut the pierce again. Powerful buff. Alright, we can remove the pierce, because again, like, I just don't think we're gonna actually get a chance to scale it up enough. And we get 15 damage off that detonation because that enemy was frozen. Oh, I should have done that first. You're technically going to lose 2 health here. Oh no! Fortunately, bite. Easy boss fight. Sure, we can see if we can make Blizzard work. It's expensive, but I'm game. This is actually pretty good for this deck. It's almost perfect because we are now... It gives us extra damage on all of our big spells. It's basically plus 30% damage on these. I think we're going to upgrade the other focus so that we can hopefully get Blizzard off. Removal-wise, I think Conductive Bolt's probably just... Nah, it's kind of whatever. You can go. I don't think it matters a ton what we got there, but... Really, the highest value play was just not even thinking about it. Okay, we're going to do that. Which does mess up my focus math a little bit, but it means we get to do this. We're just going to lock down those enemies. So they're just unable to do anything this turn. And they got so frozen they can't do anything next turn. Like I said, Blizzard, pretty good if you can afford it. Good play it again, but I think we just kill things if we do it that way, so we're just going to kill things. We're not going to be cycling our deck enough to get value out of that. We'll just take the Cleansing Shield. I'm so not... I'm used to playing on higher difficulties, and I forget how utterly fragile everything is on this difficulty. On depth 1. You just get to kind of skate through. Especially when I'm not explaining anything on this playthrough and I'm just like moving forward. Sure. It gives us a little bit more benefit out of our criticals. All right. Let's see if we can. Goodbye. Goodbye. Don't need to think, just need to murder. Shatter's pretty good. Yellow. So this is one of those where you read it, follow a safe path indicated with flags. We could detour to Caravan, which would get us an outfit that's pretty good. But there will be a fight because it said follow the path of flags, and obviously if we detour to the Caravan, we're no longer following path of flags. Which I'm kind of looking to end this, so I'm not going to do that. I'll take the current powerful rank. And here we go. Normally I would have taken like the extra shield gained, but for a depth 1 run it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and pop you. Actually, let's just kill you completely. That gives these guys powerful, which is unfortunate, but not a whole lot we could do. But the arcane did at least mean that they only gained 1 powerful instead of 2, which absolutely makes life easier. We do have a bit of a problem here in that we can't easily do what I want to do because this guy has that purity. So we're gonna lose our powerful, but we're gonna get it back at start of turn. Well, we're gonna get back at end of turn actually, technically. Alright, so this is an AoE attack, which you're gonna get to see what that means. It means our poor friend dies immediately. This fight's actually hitting a lot harder than I was expecting. That's actually very useful that we're able to get rid of the frost, purity that way. Because it means that we're able to actually freeze and get this kill. That could have actually been nasty. But it wasn't. Victory. Alright. So we're now level 3. We can now edit our card pool. But I'm going to finish up this quest, and we'll talk about card pools next time. Like I said, get that. We're not currently using poison, so we'll just re-roll that. That's very easy for us to do. We're going to hit that basically every turn. Alright. Clearly, we won't find the answers in the forest. I'm authorizing a new artifact for you to delve further into the ether. Report back with anything suspicious. Alright, we unlocked depth 2, which is the next difficulty. It has 2 areas. Although next video, I'm probably just going to do the Forgotten Ramparts quest, which is another depth 1 quest. Get 2 cards, Magic Spores, apply 10 Arcane to all enemies, and gives all of our allies Death Spores too, which means that if they die, we get powerful. And Arcane Focus, which gives us more mana based on how much max arcane the enemy has, which scales up as they go boom. So, we've now unlocked Forgotten Ramparts. We have to have done a depth 2 run to do Fetid Smoke, and then we have to do other things to get the others done. Might as well open this last pack. Alright. So we're seeing a lot of like critical and strike themed cards. These are because Marley is the second character that you're usually going to unlock, and she is strike and critical themed. We do get Ritual of Runes, which is Spellweave themed, to kind of go with Raodan's whole deal. Next time, Forgotten Ramparts, I may unlock Inna, because that will start letting us get through Inna's quest. Which we won't see the card pool, I guess. But that will be next time. Until then, toodles.